It's Michael, and today I'm going to introduce you to the executive user within Intervals. The most common use case for an executive is a client. With other software, oftentimes there's a client user level. With Intervals, that's not the case. A client can be any of the four user levels. So a client can be an administrator, a manager, a resource, or an executive. But just the most common use case is the executive because they live one step out of the task workflow where they cannot be owners, assignees, or followers of tasks, but you can selectively grant them the ability to make comments on tasks. So executives follow the project level permissions that Intervals features. So executives only see projects where they're a member of the project team. So you could have an executive that belongs to a particular client, but that does not impact what projects they can see and work on. That's handled by the project permissions. So here's where you can grant them access to the projects. Also within the project itself, there's a team tab. You can grant them access there. So with the executives, they only see projects where they're a member of the project team. And then you have these preferences here where you can allow them to comment on tasks and milestones, view time, view financials, and view invoices. So I'm going to show you an executive that has all of those disabled. So it's a very bare bones executive. This view, they just see home, tasks, milestone, projects, and documents. They don't have the reporting section because most of the reports are time-centric. So if they can't see time, then therefore they can't see reports. When viewing a task, they don't see the estimated and actual. They never see the owners, assignees, and followers since the executive's one step away. If you work with subcontractors, you don't have to worry about the executive seeing that person. They also don't have the people tab. And then the project dashboard, when they're not allowed to do much, this is all they see. Basically, an overview of the project, overview of the tasks, and then documents. So to quickly show you what a fully loaded up executive looks like. So this is this same executive, but they've been granted full access to do everything that an executive can do. So now, if I reload, the homepage won't look any different. The tasks listing won't look any different. But when viewing a task, since they can see time and then also have the ability to comment, here you'll see they do see the estimated and actual. They do have a time tab now, and they can add comments. Within the project, so this bare bones project, now you'll see a lot more information show up here. So they have a financial overview, budget, invoices, payments, and then they now have the reporting section. So executives only have a handful of reports, but if time is enabled, they do have these reports. If you're interacting with an executive, so if you're asking, well, if they can't be an owner or an assignee of a task, how do I integrate them into my workflow? The most common way to do so, here's the administrator view. On a task, you can have public and private comments, for lack of a better term. So say Jaime and I were working on this particular task to chop these templates. I can make a comment here to Jaime, you know. And when I do this, he'll receive an email asking for an update on this. Most common use case is he would actually update the task, make a comment, since we're just doing a quick video here. Say this is ready, you know, for the client to review. So our status we would use is under client review, and then I would say and I didn't show you, but I actually uploaded a document to this particular task. That's out here in the document section. And so this comment would be private, but if I wanted to, I can say, can the executive view this comment? And when doing so, now the executive can view this particular comment. And actually, on the previous step, I should have done that on the first one. When you do can executive view this document, you can actually email and notify them. So then when they get notified, they can actually just reply to that email, since Intervals includes email integration, and it will update the task, or they can come in and make a comment on the task to notify the owners and assignees and followers that activity happened on that particular task. If you remove financials and invoices, this is another common one where if you want the executive to be able to make comments on tasks, but you don't want them seeing the kind of nuts and bolts of the budget on the project, you can set it that way. And this project dashboard Now the expenses, payments, invoices, and the financial overview disappeared. So this is the executive user. If you've come over from other systems that are really straightforward, the executive has more personalization and toggles in there. So we typically recommend creating a couple example executive users and then log in as them to see what they see. If you need a user that's more integrated in your workflow, so if you have a client where you want them to be owners and assignees of tasks, a lot of our customers set up clients as resource level users. So one of those two is the most common. This was the executive.